It's 5:30 here on Truman State Campus, and welcome to TMN Television on Thursday, March 24th. I'm Aerin Johnson.
And I'm Kasey Harvey. New tonight, we look into how a fuel tax increase could fix bridges in Adair County.
Plus, see how Baldwin renovations are affecting a popular campus event.
And catch up on Truman sports with Sarah Hicks on the Dog Pound.
These stories and more tonight on TMN Television. You don't want to miss this.
University President Troy Pano and members of his administration have started to look at the budget for fiscal year 2017. Pano says next year's budget will be particularly difficult to plan because the 5.5% funding increase Governor Jay Nixon proposed in December was reduced to a 2% increase by the Missouri House. But the 2% is not guaranteed. It will be set aside in a reserve fund unless the state meets a certain revenue amount. If said revenue is met, the state will release the 2% funding increase. Vice President for Administration, Finance, and Planning, Dave Rector, says the issue is a disagreement between the branches of government about revenue. Rector says the House disagrees with the governor because it thinks that revenue will be lower. This decision is not final because the budget still has to go through the Senate. But Pano says his administration will be forced to budget with a 0% increase in mind.
Many bridges in Adair County are structurally deficient, but there is a tax increase that can change that. TMN reporters Paige Youngerman and Jonah McKeown have the story.
With 9 of Adair County's bridges classified as structurally deficient, the Missouri Department of Transportation is currently seeking a funding solution to pay for these repairs. A fuel tax increase currently being considered by Missouri lawmakers could be the solution. Many of Adair County's critical condition bridges, such as this one on Route 11 a few miles east of Kirksville, have structural damage to the underneath. Rusting and section loss are common, as is delamination, which is occurring here when the steel inside the concrete rust. Many of these bridges are in need of new decking, and while this one is not, it is still in need of vital repairs. Missouri has one of the lowest fuel taxes in the nation, and it hasn't been raised since 1996. The Missouri Senate is currently considering 4 bills proposing an increase in funding for road and bridge repairs, and an increase in the state fuel tax is a likely solution. Legislators have until the end of the legislative session in May to pass one of these proposals. MoDOT area engineer Amy Crawford says while all of Adair County's bridges are safe to drive on, the 9 in critical condition have lower load capacities than other county bridges. She says a fuel tax increase would allow MoDOT to begin to replace and repair these critical bridges.
Most of those bridges need to be completely rebuilt. A lot of the bridges were built in the 40s. And they are built for a usable lifespan of 50 to 60 years, sometimes 75, depending on the type of the bridge that they are. At the very least, most of them need a redeck, but the majority of them, they need to be rebuilt.
Adair County Representative Nate Walker says a fuel increase of 1.5 cents per gallon would need to pass through the Missouri House of Representatives, Senate, and the governor, but an increase of 2 cents or more would likely go to a vote of the people. If any of the fuel tax bills pass through the Senate, Walker says he thinks it is unlikely they will pass through the House during this legislative session due to a lack of support.
The Senate has talked about 1.5 cent sales fuel tax, but we probably need more than that to really address the overall issue, but we've got to do something, and I will support whatever it takes to make sure we have safer and better roads for Missourians.
If a fuel tax increase is passed, it will likely be implemented during August.
Kirksville Protect Our Pets is reaching out to the community by encouraging pet owners to spay and neuter their pets. Corbin Kottman, Rachel McGlasson, and Kaylin Riley have the story.
Local organization KV Pop readies for their 3rd annual March Spay-Neuter campaign with the aim of reducing the homeless pet population in Adair County. KV Pop volunteers hand out coupons that provide pet owners with a discounted spay and neutering service at local veterinary clinics. KV Pop distributed over 120 coupons last Thursday and Saturday at the Adair and Schuyler County Public Libraries. KV Pop co-founder and president Bridget Thomas says the team beat their goal last year with 156 appointments and hopes to have even more this year.
So today we're giving away 120 coupons. Each of them is good for $25 off spay neuter. And they can use them at any local clinic, and they can use them during March when their discounts being offered by clinics, or in April, so they have 2 months to use them.
Truman student and veterinary technician Victoria Boston brought her dog Rizzo in to be fixed earlier this year. Boston strongly believes that spaying and neutering your pets is an essential duty of being a pet owner.
It can help reduce their risks of getting prostate cancer, testicular cancer, or breast cancer.
Spaying and neutering your pets can cost between $50 and $65 for a cat and up to $100 for a dog, depending on its size. The KV Pop Prevent a Litter coupons will subtract $25 off of this cost. This year's campaign will be measured after April 30th when the coupons expire. The team is hopeful about the results and encouraged by the difference they're making in the community. With the Truman Media Network, I'm Corbin Cotton.
After the break, we look at how Truman's Pride Alliance organization, PRISM, wrapped up their Bashing the Binary Week.
But before all that, let's take a look at this week's forecast.
With the sweet burn of moonshine on a burger. It's not illegal, but it tastes like it. Introducing the Midnight Moonshine Thick Burger with moonshine glaze on 100% Black Angus beef. Only at Hardee's.
After this year's Greek Week, Lip Sync will not be a part of Homecoming or Greek Week for at least a year because of renovations in Baldwin Hall. Greek Week and Homecoming committees have determined nowhere else is suitable for hosting Lip Sync besides Baldwin Auditorium. Instead, committees will plan other events for these weeks until the auditorium reopens. Greek Week Lip Sync Chair Senior Heather Coons says there's nowhere else in Kirksville with the same seating capacity and theater space as Baldwin. This year's Greek Week Lip Sync will take place at 8 p.m. on April 8th.
Ryan Salem, an internationally known transgender speaker and activist, spoke at Truman State University March 19th. His presentation focused on his personal transition story and experiences as a trans person. Salem explained transgender terminology and addressed common misconceptions. Salem says he noticed audiences can more easily relate with the issues facing trans people when he shares his own story rather than focusing on larger concepts. Students asked questions and interacted with Salem throughout the presentation. Salem says he thinks people are hesitant to talk about gender identity with elementary and middle school children, but he says it's important to start teaching kids about this topic from a young age. Salem says he never planned on becoming an activist, but the injustice he witnessed helped him find his purpose and ignite his desire to help other people.
I didn't plan to get into activism. I think it began because it was a personal issue for me. It touched me personally in my own experience, and I saw the injustice that was happening to other people, and it made me angry, but also it gave me purpose. And I realized that I could help create safer environments for other people and hope that they don't necessarily have to go through the same struggles that I did in my own transition process.
Stay tuned for our sports segment, The Dog Pound, hosted by Sarah Hicks.
We'll be right back.
We have a problem.
An epidemic.
It's infectious.
Like a disease, spreading to every university across the country.
It affects every community.
Every campus.
Every student.
It can leave its victims feeling hopeless.
Confused.
Scared.
Alone.
Approximately 95% of these cases go unreported.
It's time to get serious about ending sexual assault.
Be the one to start the conversation.
Be the one to report a sexual assault.
Be the one to know you are not alone.
1 in 5 women.
1 in 16 men are affected by sexual assault in college.
Be the one to support those affected.
Be the one to ask if they're all right.
Be the one to ask for help.
Truman provides confidential and non-confidential resources to anyone impacted by sexual assault.
Be the one to say no.
Be the one to intervene when consent hasn't been given.
When consent can't be given.
Be the one to not blame the victim.
Be the one to get your friends home safe.
Be the one to tell them they've had too much to drink.
Be the one to survive. To thrive.
To advocate. Be the one to cultivate a culture of respect.
Of bravery.
Of responsibility.
Of dignity.
Of courage.
Of accountability.
Of honesty.
Of trust. Of hope.
Be the one to pursue a safer campus.
Be the one to stop sexual assault.
Welcome to the Dog Pound, always brought to you by Hardee's. I'm Sarah Hicks. I sat down with head softball coach Aerin Brown and head baseball coach Dan Davis to discuss the 2016 spring season. The baseball team has had a rough start. They lost the last 4 games, but hope to regain their footing this Friday against Quincy. The softball team is sitting 15-7 overall, and Coach Brown is very excited for the games ahead. Head coach Aerin Brown is happy with the team's performance so far. She says the ladies are the 44th softball team in Truman State history, and the ladies are calling themselves Team 44 throughout the 2016 season. At practice, the ladies are working on individual weaknesses as well as ball fundamentals to help them transition the younger players into the team's momentum. She says the ladies will be playing a faster game this weekend against Drury University and Missouri S&T. Brown says getting hits off early is important against teams with strong defenses.
We started off a little rough, had a couple issues, and I think we fixed them, which is pretty typical of early in the season, but I think we finally found our groove, found a lineup that works, everybody's contributing, so it's going well right now. Oh, we're a family. Yeah, we're sisters. We love each other. We're on the field together, but off the field we're spending as much time together as possible. Bus trips, hotels, we can't get away from each other.
Head coach Dan Davis recognizes that the team has gotten off to a rough start. He believes that this weekend will be the turning point for the team as they face Quincy University.
We're going to play our game. Quincy's going to be really good. I think they're number 8 in the country. What's great about our program is every year we beat a top 10 team. We're excited about it. When you play teams like this, it's a great opportunity. It's nothing to shy away from.
Our approach, just in general, during a baseball game, we got to put everything together. That's really what it is. Some days our pitching shows up, some days our hitting shows up. When we put both those together, we're pretty hard to beat.
I know we're trying to be excited here in the dugout, and I know it's been cold the last couple of days, but spring's here. It might not look like spring yet, but go outside, enjoy the weather, watch some baseball, have some fun.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Dog Pound. Be sure to support your Bulldogs this weekend. As always, I am Sarah Hicks reporting for the Truman Media Network.
That brings us to the end of our program. Be sure to check out our exclusive web content at tmn.truman.edu. For weekend updates and special coverage, look for TMN Television on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Don't forget to check out the latest episode of Rising from Our Roots on YouTube.
And for complete multimedia coverage, be sure to pick up a copy of The Index and tune into KTRM on 88.7 The Edge. From all of us here at TMN Television, thank you for tuning in and have a great rest of the week.